Let me start off by saying this. Zoe Quinn is a terrible human being. She is. There's no better way to describe this person. And I don't even want to use the word person because it indicates some form of respect. I have no respect for Zoe Quinn, not one. And you know what? Part of me has tried to over the years. I'm not going to lie, but I'll talk about that. But where it stands right now, in the wake of this past week, I have no respect for her. And this was a subject that I ultimately was actively avoiding making a video on, addressing it on the channel. I've wanted to put a lot of the last couple years behind me, move on. I appreciate Gamergate, what it was, what it originally was. Ethics and games journalism, the people that I met, the friends that I made, the fact that by Zoe Quinn striking down my channel, striking down my video in an effort to silence anyone talking about the blog post where 9,000 words exposed her for the gaslighting, abusive individual that she is. And what followed was a career change. My entire life changed. Where I'm at right now, at the end of the day, I owe that to Zoe Quinn. So there's a level of respect I've attempted to have. You know, to not look a gift horse in the mouth, so to speak. I don't quite know. But I can't. I can't look at her and look at what we know that's happened and really find a way to explain it away or to forgive it or to justify it. And I'm a centrist by nature, so I'm always looking for that. You know, there's always a redemption arc that someone can take, right? We'd like to think that. We'd like to think that at the end of the day, if you fuck up, there's a redemption arc you can take. There's something you can do. I mean, for one, obviously it's, you know, not continuously fuck up. That's where we got to start with this. But when you have someone like Zoe Quinn, who is continuously fucked upwards in life, and I mean that by like failing upwards. She's climbed the ladder for half a decade, if not longer, and produced so little as a result. And now, almost 5 years to the date, and which is just kind of like karmic in some aspect, a young man is dead. And she's gone radio silent. And it's wild to think about. When someone first told me that Zoe Quinn had a body count, I was like, is she, like, she's made references to that in the past, you know, that she's killed a guy. But this time around, all jokes aside, a person is dead. A person that she accused of sexual assault, sexual misconduct, and abusive behavior. And without him here to either refute those claims or anything else, we'll never know the full story. And maybe we never really have to, I guess, because it doesn't matter at this point. He's dead. He's dead. A Me Too accusation told through Notepad from iOS and published to Twitter sparked a campaign to deplatform and humiliate a person who was accused of a terrible, heinous, disgusting act. Not going to the police. Not filing a report in Canada where this apparently happened. In Winnipeg, if I recall correctly. Not going to the authorities, not saying a goddamn fucking thing to anyone else, but going on Twitter and writing it out like you're trying to remember your goddamn fucking grocery list. That is what we saw. And then, of course, other people came out and there were other accusations that were made, and those apparently were made privately and none of those are made publicly. And so the people that then fired Alec or disassociated from Alec said that there's been this pattern of abusive behavior. And of course, none of us know how much of that is true or not true. None of us know how much of that is accurate or not. In the wake of Pro Jared, and in the wake of Andy Signor, and in the wake of these Me Too accusations that have forced cancel culture, James Charles even, that have forced cancel culture, we know them to not be true. So I would argue that due process is required. Not firing off a notepad screenshot to fucking Twitter and then letting the machine do the rest. Because make no mistake, Zoe Quinn is smart enough to know exactly what she was doing. Smart enough to know precisely, exactly, with pinpoint accuracy, what she was doing. She laser guided a missile to this guy. Instead of going to the police, instead of going to the authorities, instead of creating a paper trail, she accused him of something that's heinous and disgusting and wrong and terrible. And now he's dead. And the rest of us are left wondering, could things have been different? And you know what? The answer to that is yes, they could have. 100% they could have. People out there are defending Zoe. There's nothing there to defend, by the way. I don't know if he did or didn't do, but her character speaks volumes to what you should believe. And so people are now actively trying to cancel Zoe Quinn once again, something that happened 5 years ago and multiple times since then. And like the mammal-based cockroach that she is, the human-looking platypus that she is, she can wither away. She can slide away. She can slink away. And she's doing that right now, by the way. She's doing that right now. She deactivated her Twitter after saying, I need some time. And then she came back to Twitter today. She reactivated her account. And then said, well, when it's deactivated, so is two-factor authentication. So I'm reactivating it, but I'm not going to use this Twitter anymore because she's running and she's hiding. Because she knows she fucked up. She knows that she fucked up. There's no other explanation for it. She weathered Gamergate and was able to turn it into a lot of money. She wrote a book that was absolutely full of lies and garbage. And I know because I was talked about 3 times in that book. And all 3 times were lies, 2 of which I proved in my response video. She says that Gamergate is responsible for the election of Donald Trump. And then basically said, I'm the reason why Gamergate started. So in her mind, I'm the reason Trump got elected, which is an absolute lie. But this is the delusional mindset, the mentality of this walking contradiction, this collection of cells that somehow amassed into what appears to be a person, but is in fact nothing more than just probably a banshee with skin. There are so many things about her over these past 5 years that would have sent any respectable human running for the damn hills. Crash Override, the money it collected from Anita Sarkeesian, the fact that it never produced anything tangible, the fact that the writers there, the trans writers that were working on that site or people that were helping out never were paid, were promised more, and were never delivered upon. The $85,000 raised for that Chuck Tingle game that had Will Wheaton and Chris Cluey and a couple other people that she knew from Gamergate that never materialized when she said that she was out of money and on vacation in Japan. This is Zoe Quinn. I mean, we should expect nothing less from Zoe Quinn at this point. Scamming, colluding, conniving. That's what she does. But now she's running because now people care. Now there's a body. Someone is dead because of words she said. Now, look, I will be fair. I saw the post allegedly from Alec that had said, like, I think 2014 or 2013, somewhere in there, that he does feel that ultimately people are going to try to ruin his life, ruin his career, that would drive him to suicide. He made that comment, allegedly. I don't know how accurate that screenshot is. And some people thought he predicted his death, if that's true. And perhaps she knew that. Perhaps other people knew that. Perhaps this was just what he had intended to do, provided something like this were going to happen. We have no idea. We have literally no idea, and we never will. Another friend of mine, same friend who actually sent me the Zoe post back in 2014, had apparently talked to Alec. I don't know the full details of that story. We've talked about it a little bit. Nothing that I feel comfortable with talking about because I don't have all the details. But it sure did seem, based upon what I was told, that it's not all what Zoe made it out to be. And if you recall, when it came to Aaron, after the blog post came out, the Zoe post came out that exposed her for being the gaslighting, abusive ex that she was, with massive multiple infidelities, that she accused him of very similar things that she accused Alec of. How did that turn out? That's all I'm saying on that one. I am not a fan of cancel culture. I'm not. I don't believe that people are without redemption. But it's so hard to keep that mindset going when I think of Zoe Quinn. When I think about her, and I think about the last 5 years, and I think about every time her name comes up, and usually it's attached to a grift of some kind, some uncompleted project. The only thing we know that she's completed since 2014 is her book, which apparently was ghostwritten from my understanding, but I don't know. I read it. It was terrible. The first half of that thing read like just a first draft of a live journal. But because of her popularity, because Gamergate is the internet boogeyman, because of all these things, she was able to use it, to parlay it into a career. This is a person who doesn't deserve a career. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say that lightly. Everyone makes mistakes in life. That is confirmed. We live in an age of cancel culture based upon allegations that may not always be true. We have a society, we have a culture here, at least on YouTube, where that is prevalent more so now than it was in 2014. Where people don't want to wait for the information to come in. They just want to react. And that is people on both the left and the right, the social justice warriors and the anti-social justice warriors. And I am right on that. And oftentimes I would call for more information to be waited on, to get the full story, to get Zoe's side of the story before condemning her, because we don't fully know where Alec's mind was. All we know is that he's dead. But it's so difficult to look at her history and to not think that she was at least not somewhat aware that this might be an outcome. Or at least what her game was. What's her next Kickstarter? What is she going to do now that her book sales have dried up? It's been 2 years. Not a lot of people bought them. What is she going to do? She never finished a Chuck Chingle game. Depression Quest was free to play. Crash Override is gone. And Anita's a laughingstock who's not footing the bill anymore. What is she going to do? Oh, get in the spotlight again. I don't like to draw conclusions. I don't like to over-speculate. It's hard not to here. It really is. It's really hard to not just look at it and go, no, I'm pretty sure I know what happened. I don't know Alec. I can't speak to his character. I can't speak about him as a person. I've never heard his name before last week. And now I know him for all the absolute wrong reasons. And that's a shame. That's a shame. That's a shame that anyone can just be reduced to that. Because that's what he's going to be known as now, and that's probably the worst part of it. He's either Zoe's rapist or Zoe's body count. That's what he is. None of us know him. None of us knew his personality. And the people that did know him say that he was maybe not right, that he had problems, he had issues. But that does not excuse not following the rules and not going to the cops. I'm sorry. I cannot get around that. We are not talking about somebody kicking you in the shin or somebody scraping your car door. We are not talking about a minor offense like jaywalking. We are talking about the very serious act of sexual assault, the very serious act of rape. That's what we are talking about. And to not go to the police, but to just casually address it on Twitter, and then at the slightest sign of pushback from your own community, at the slightest sign of pushback from your precious echo chamber that you've never been questioned on in half a decade, you crumble like a freaking house of cards. You crumble, you cut, you run, and then you come back and you go, oh, well, I need to protect and make sure that no one can hack into my account to expose my DMs. So, by the way, I'm gone forever. See you, bye. No responsibility, none whatsoever. That is Zoe Quinn. That is Chelsea Balkenberg. That is who this person is, and that has never changed. She does not learn from her mistakes. She continues forward because she's enabled by people in the indie game world and on the left side of things politically. She's absolutely positively enabled by them. And I think a lot of them see that now. Stuff we've been saying for 5 years. We rang the bell for 5 years. And if one of them would have listened, it's possible Alec would still be alive. If one of them would have listened and maybe said, let's keep this private. Let's not do this way. Let's go through the proper channels. Let's not cancel culture this person. I know Alec's death is not on us. Doesn't necessarily feel that way. Like if we would have tried harder, but I don't know what we could have done 5 years ago. No one would have thought this far ahead. A narcissistic, sociopathic, psychotic woman who grifts people, con artist, my opinions, who likes to prey on emotionally vulnerable young men in order to get what she needs, my opinion, who uses the law to silence an ex from exposing her. That's a fact. At the end of the day, at the end of all this, this has gone on for too long anyway. My condolences go to his friends who knew him. My condolences go to his family. My condolences go to him. I don't feel 1 ounce of sadness, sympathy, empathy for Zoe Quinn. I don't. And that bothers me because I'm an empathetic person. Apathy does not run in my DNA. And I feel nothing but apathy for Zoe Quinn. She's hurt too many people. And I don't think there's any coming back from this. I don't think there's any coming back because if she comes out and she does what needs to be done, which is publicly apologize, it would destroy her. It would destroy the echo chamber. It would question her entire credibility. And she uses that to keep grifting because nobody on her side wants to acknowledge exactly who and what she is. A banshee with skin.